Good afternoon. My name is Kevin Devejoglu, and I'm with AnyWare Apps. Welcome to our webinar today. Today, we'll be talking about how to manage PPE programs digitally with the help of quality assurance anywhere. Today, we'll make a change. So before our regular presentation that we always do at our executive webinar series, just like today's, we'll make a change and we'll start with it. By the way, after the demonstration, we'll be talking about PPE management on a high level. We'll be talking about quality assurance software product and how it can be helping you manage your personal protective equipment programs digitally in this digital age. Sam, if you are ready, please take over the screen to start the demonstration.
Sure. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you for joining today's webinar. And this is the homepage of Quality Assurance Anywhere. So this system is a permission-based system, which means not everyone can see everything in this software. So you will see what you're supposed to do based on your role, position, profession, department, or group. And right after you log in, you can find all the pending tasks and also the request for approval on this home screen. And you can get a quick connection to those requests. For example, like the document that is waiting for your approval. So you can have a quick connection from this widget and start proceeding with this request. And this is the main menu of the system. As you notice, there are many modules available. And this software has this modular structure, which means you can pick and choose the modules that you want to have and deploy it on your server. And today, I will introduce PPE module, personal protective equipment modules, and show you how you can manage your PPE digitally. By using this module, you can assign the PPE, the protective equipment, to your employees. So right here, you can see an employee list, and then you can pick and choose the employee and start assigning the PPE to this worker. So for example, you can pick and choose the PPE that we have recorded in the system, like the helmet, glove, glasses, mask, and face shield. So this list can be updated all the time by the actual operations of your company in the during the configuration. So now you can pick and choose the one that you need, for example, the glasses, and for example, the helmet. And then it will be added to the system first, and you can get rid of the items if you don't need it. And also you can pick and choose the date that you need it for this employee. So for example, it's for next Monday. And then you can pick and choose the quantity of each PPE. For example, we need 2 or 1 or so on. And also we can put the reason why we need this PPE. So what kind of operation that is involved and we need this PPE. For example, like construction, cleaning, or maintenance. So these are some items that we put together in the system. But again, we can always update it based upon the actual operations of your company. And then we can click it. And if there's any supportive information that you want to put in this description, and then you can put this in the open text box. After that, then we can save it and it will be updated to the system. So now the system is updated and this PPE will be assigned to the employee. So they will receive a notification in in the system and also in their email inbox so that they can pick up their PPE accordingly. So now let us go back to the list. And you can see right here is the list that show all the PPE that is assigned to this employee, like the date and also the reason. And let's think about now the maintenance is done. So we are returning our PPE to the company or to the warehouse, for example. So what we have to do is come to here and then select it and take this out from the list. So the way we do that is, which means we return our PPE, because if they lost it, or if the employee, they lost their PPE, or they keep it themselves, it's still the cost for the company. And this is how we can keep tracking all the equipment that we have, for example, in our warehouse. Once we assigned the PPE to the employee, then they have to return it. This is the way that we keep tracking by using our system. So now when we return it, and the system will still save all the record in an archive, and we can always retrieve from our report, for example, the utilization list, so that you can see the whole list and all the record that we of all the PPE that is assigned to different users. As you notice, there's more report that allows you to generate by using the reporting tool of this module. For example, the Ppe Status Report. And then you can also track what is the status of the PPE that is assigned to this employee. And you're more than welcome to use the search bar provided on the top. For example, I want to see if there's any PPE is holding by this particular employee, and then you can find the status as well. And you can export this report to Excel or PDF with any responsible parties. It's come to the end of my demonstration of PPE module. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Seth. Thank you for the demonstration. Let me take over the screen, and then we can continue with our webinar session. Okay, perfect. As you saw at my colleague Sam's demonstration, now you can manage your PPE of COVID-19 in a digital environment. What type of personal protective equipment that you have, who you need to give this to among your teams, how often you need to update it, replace it. That can be all managed digitally. So there is no need for paper to manage PPE programs, scheduling, and other details in this digital age. Now I'd like to talk about personal protective equipment, PPE management from the health, safety, and quality management. ERP or ISO 22000 are some of the standards that we may be in need of complying. And there is a whole list, as you see, healthcare, manufacturing, medical device, pharmaceutical, technology, and so on. All these standards actually designed to support companies is to help them have quality management in place. And when we look at them, all of these quality management systems, they have certain objectives. One of them, for example, having a safe working environment, no matter what you produce, no matter what type of service you provide. Making safe products also another important objective that they have. Increasing customer satisfaction and having continuous improvement in place are critical objectives. And these are common objectives of any of these quality management systems that I'm listing on the screen. Of course, there are more of them. These are just some of them, vertical by vertical. However, the objectives are very, very similar. Also, there are requirements of these standards. They come with certain compliance requirements, such as documentation, having control points, having feedback, and analyzing them for continuous improvement, and communicating those lessons learned internally. That is also very critical. And finally, in the name of having continuous improvement culture in place, you need to take corrective actions after certain analysis. So these are typical requirements of compliance in the world of quality management and compliance management. And regardless of what you comply, especially nowadays, PPE management, personal protective equipment management, is very, very important. As a company, you are responsible for your employees' safety and well-being. So having a PPE management program is critical. So what type of steps would you be following when you are managing your personal protective equipment programs in your company? First of all, you need to define what policies, procedures, SOPs, and forms you'll have in place while you are managing your personal protective equipment from the scope of health and safety management. And once these are defined, you need to train your employees, you need to train your team members as to how to use a PPE, personal protective equipment, how often you need to replace it, how can you maintain it, how you need to keep it safe for you to next time use it, or dispose it and go for another one, for example. So you need to also set goals for it. That's also critical. So based on these goals, you need to have follow-up actions and audits from time to time to make sure all the team members that you have are following your instructions, following the trainings that you offer. That is also critical. And at the end of the day, you need to measure the performance and you need to make some updates based on the feedback that you are getting from your audits and follow-ups as to have the highest quality personal protective equipment management program in place at your company. So this is a very common practice and steps as we have been seeing in the marketplace to manage personal protective equipment, PPEs, in the marketplace. It is critical. It is important for safety of your employees, safety of your customers, and stakeholders, I must say. And during the demonstration of my colleague Sam, you've seen digitally how you can manage PPE on quality assurance anywhere with no need of paper. Speaking of quality assurance anywhere, let's talk about the system a little bit more detailed. As you have seen the system yourself, it's very user-friendly and very straightforward, and it's modular, as you've seen. And we talk about PPE module in the system, and we demonstrated it. Quality assurance anywhere in the market since 1998. We have been developing for a long time. It's a mature system. It is very solid. And that is why we have more than 1,000 happy corporate customers in the marketplace and more than 1 million professional users. So system is solid, quality assurance anywhere is solid. It's been helping many different companies comply different standards, manage quality management standard systems. And we have a lot of customers, as you see, and we are proud of it. System quality assurance anywhere software has a very modern architecture, very modern technology. It is ready to integrate with many different systems, ERP systems, CRM systems, manufacturing execution systems, IoTs, and many other systems when there is a need. The idea is to offer customers an integrated management system. So there will be no double entry needed, and you can have your reports, KPIs, dashboards by your fingertips anytime you like. On quality assurance, anyway, you can comply with many different quality and compliance management standards. You may be complying more than one standard, for example, and you can manage those at the same time on the system, which is very practical. It is a web-based software, meaning once we deploy it, you can use it on cloud as well as on-premise servers, and you can access the system from wherever you are via a web browser. And once we train you and your team members for quality assurance, anyway, you can manage the system by yourself. It is not complicated, it's very user-friendly, we have also demonstrated it for you earlier, as you've seen. And once you are properly trained, you can manage the system yourself without getting any outside assistance or IT support, which is very important. Of course, our 24/7 support always continues. What I'm saying is simply after the training, you'll be able to control many parts of the system, and you can manage your quality management standard system in a digital environment on quality assurance anywhere. It works on cloud as well as on-premise servers, and no matter where we deploy, either cloud or on-premise server, you can access the software via web browser anywhere you are. Since it has a module structure, you are free to pick and choose any module you like. There are more than 30 modules available on quality assurance anywhere, and depends on the quality management system that you are complying with. As I listed some of them on the list on the screen, for example, on the slide. You may be complying with ISO 9001, you may be complying with ISO 14000 or other standards perhaps. You can pick and choose any module you like depending on the quality management system that you are complying with. And let's remember, all of these quality management systems require you to take certain steps. For example, you need to document your activities. So document management, control document management module is designed to help you manage your policies, procedures, SOPs, and forms. You need to have control points to make sure your team members are following the instructions coming from your policies and procedures. That is why we have control document management in place. You need to have certain feedback from your customers, from your team members, and from your stakeholders. You need to study those feedback, and you need to analyze them. That is why we have customer complaint and feedback module, as well as survey module, where you can collect feedbacks and you can study them, analyze them. And you can also communicate lessons learned in your company. That is why we have event notification and incident management module, where you can record all the incidents, all the events. You can put together reports as to lessons learned, and you can share them with your team members. You can communicate lessons learned internally. And taking corrective actions are vital. It is vital for any quality management system for continuous improvement operations. That is why we have corrective action module, also known as Ppe, where you can record your corrective actions. You can conduct investigations if there is a need. You can make analysis, and you can basically take your corrective actions. So these are very important requirements of any compliance that is in place. We have more than 30 modules. There is no minimum or maximum module that you can choose. You can choose anyone that you like. You can start with a couple of modules if you like. You can add later on. So that is very flexible. It's really up to you. Our goal is to be helping you comply with quality management standards as well as regulatory standards and compliance requirements in a digital environment with no need of paper, especially in the face of COVID-19 nowadays. Many people working remotely from home or go to office periodically, not every day. So managing PPE is more important than before. That's why we have PPE module for you to manage your PPE programs. And my colleague Sam demonstrated that module earlier in quality assurance anywhere. Before we end this webinar, I'd like to invite you to our YouTube channel, AnyWare Apps YouTube channel, where you can click playlist and you can see the recordings of our previous educational webinar series. You can watch, you can share with your team members, and it can be an important resource for you anytime you like. We will be also posting these webinars as well on this YouTube channel, and there are many more when you visit, you can see. So we welcome you. We invite you to our YouTube channel at your convenience. If you have any questions, if you'd like to have a one-to-one session with us, if you like to schedule a meeting, you can send us an email. You can see our email address on the screen, on the slide. Also, we have our phone number available on this slide. You can give us a call if you like. And we can continue this conversation as to how to comply with different quality management standards, ISO 9100, ISO 22000, SQF ERP, and so on. We can address your questions and we can schedule meetings to talk about your challenges and how we can help you. Also, on the screen, as you see, there are other applications available in AnyWare Apps product family. If you'd like to learn about those products as well, you can visit our website, anywareapps.com. You can send us an email. We can present you our product portfolio, or you can simply give us a call to ask your questions and or schedule a meeting with us. I'd like to thank you for your time and thank you for your interest. I'm looking forward to seeing you in our coming webinar sessions. Thank you very much and have a nice day.